Now I'm live. Okay. Sometimes it like automatically starts, sometimes it doesn't. So I have to give it a second to like double check it to make sure I'm live. But anyways, happy Thursday. Happy almost end of your week. Before I get into the whiskey though, I want to say a quick thank you guys so much for helping me get to 2,000 subscribers on my channel. It's been a goal for a while. Yeah, and we finally hit it yesterday. So okay, live now, sir. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, see, I have it set up that when I push this button, it goes live, but it's like every other time it doesn't work, so I have to like look at my screen a little bit, but I see now that I'm live. So, yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for helping me hit 2,000 subscribers on this channel. This channel it's kind of evolved a bit. It was kind of originally like a vlog, like a travel channel. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it in the future. Lately, I've been doing a lot of these whiskey reviews, which you guys seem to like. Most of you guys I found from the whole whiskey community. So, yeah. So, I just want to start off by saying thank you guys. Really, I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. Those of you that show up every week or, every so often in the chat, it really does mean a lot. And if you're watching the replay, I know there's a good bit of you that can't make the live streams, but you comment on the replays. Really do appreciate that. So, yeah. Congratulations to all of you for being a part of this. Mainly, I tried to hit it on 11:11. I think we hit it on 11:12. But, yeah. Oh, good to see everyone coming in. What's up? Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews. Thank you for retweeting my tweet about almost hitting 2,000 subscribers. Your tweet and everyone else's really did help. So, and I was happy to discover a lot of new whiskey channels based on the people that commented on that and liked that. So, yeah, definitely. I don't know if I subscribed to you on YouTube yet, but I follow you on Twitter, so I'll check out your channel shortly after. I'm gonna get started though on. I have a lot of whiskeys here today. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like, this is like what I'm hoping to go through today. We'll see. We'll see if I get through them all, but I may not get through them all, but it's okay. So what are you guys drinking on tonight? I'm gonna start off doing maybe a bottle kill. This might be a little more than a bottle kill. We'll see. Maker's 46. Now, the reason I'm starting with Maker's 46, other than finishing a bottle, this was the first wheated bourbon that I actually bought, other than like a pour at a bar. I'm not a huge fan of regular Makers, but Maker's 46 really did stand out to me. Just the extra proof, the extra what they do with the oak staves. It was the first wheater that really caught my attention, so I thought that was a good place to start. Yeah, it's a little bit more than I wanted to drink, but I have this glass set to the side anyway, so that'll be my behind the scenes action. Yeah, that'll be my dump glass as we go along. But I want to start with it because, like I said, it's what I first started with wheated bourbons. I'm curious, what was you? I imagine most of you guys' first wheated bourbon was Maker's Mark, just regular Maker's Mark, right? Or maybe if you're in like one of those fortunate states, you got some Weller. Larceny was actually I think I had Larceny before I had Maker's 46. I'm not the biggest fan of Larceny. I used to really like it, but lately I haven't been a huge fan of it. So yeah, Maker's 46. By the way, I guess for those of you that may be new to wheated bourbons, basically that just means instead of rye as the flavor grain, basically, I don't want to sound like repetitive, but all bourbon is at least 51% corn. Usually it's rye and malted barley, but on wheaters, they replace the rye with wheat. Some say wheat doesn't really have flavor, it's just more of a balancing act. I think wheat does have flavor, not quite as flavorful as rye. But yeah, I think wheat does add something to bourbon, and I'm gonna hopefully see how that develops along the way. I'm starting right now with the lowest amount of wheat in any of these bourbons. The Rebel Yell 100 is actually one of the ones I want to drink. That was actually one of my recent discoveries, and also a new favorite, and it's also signed by the Master Distiller, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I picked this one up in Kentucky a couple weeks ago, and it really surprised me. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a sip of this. I actually was planning on, I'm just going to transfer this over to my tasting glass. I was going to be sipping on that before we got started, but there ended up being a lot of it. So let's just pour something in here. We'll see. So just want to give it a fair comparison as I go through each of them. I'm not really trying to pick a favorite. I'm just going to go through each of them and kind of talk about what I like about them. I might end up finding a favorite. We'll see. Yeah, so, oh, wait, Steven, you're about to try Country Ham for the first time. Sorry, I just saw that. Oh, let me know. I'm curious to hear what you think of it. I love Country Ham. Favorite Bookers in a long, long time. On the nose, it is wheaty. I always attribute wheated bourbons to having a legit bready nose. Like, not even desserty, but like a fresh baked bread. Maker's 46 gets that a ton. It is not age stated, Brandon. I don't believe so. This is the new 100 proof release. They used to. No, it's not age stated. Um, Welcome, Guy Davis. Welcome to, I guess, Guy. Guy Davis is such a full name. It's a little weird. Welcome, Guy. Thank you. Again, I was thanking some other people early in the chat that retweeted my stuff on Twitter about getting 2,000 subscribers. Really appreciate it. You guys really helped me hit the goal. So cheers to you guys. This is the Maker's 46. Yeah, I think honestly, if you're someone that says, "Oh, I don't like Weeders" because you've had Maker's Mark, regular Maker's Mark, give Maker's 46 a try. I think you'll be really surprised what the extra age. First of all, it's a little bit extra age. Also, they're putting some different wood staves in there to really add and accentuate certain flavors. I think it brings a fruitiness, nuttiness that's not in standard Maker's Mark. So, yeah, I this is honestly we've gone through 3 or 4 bottles of Maker's 46 in my household. So this has just been one of our favorites. It's only 16% wheat, so it's 70% corn, 16% wheat, and 14% malted barley. So the lowest wheat, other than the Weller, which will be my next one. So, but this is just a really solid pour. I would drink this all day, every day. I do like rye spice in a lot of bourbons, but don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you, Brendan. Yeah, we're at 3 likes right now. Come on, you guys. You can really appreciate it. You don't have to. I don't want to be like Dominic. Why aren't you guys clicking like? No. Those of you, but it really does mean a lot to see the likes and the comments come in. So it does help. So thank you, Brandon. I need to change my little message. I can set up a little chat message. I haven't changed it. It was back when I was trying to do super chats and stuff, but I don't think, yeah, I don't think I enabled super chats for some reason on this stream. It's like some of these things, like, they work every other time. It's really weird. Because, like, why would there not be... There's, like, age restriction. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, so I have a little button set up to post an automated message. So yeah, the Maker's 46 is great. It's the first 2019 Bookers you've had. I will say it now, Fresh Crack doesn't hold a candle to Off Your Rocker. Okay, well, Off Your Rocker, I mean, I haven't had an older Bookers in a while. So, but I know compared to all the 2018s I had, even the good ones, I think the new one, Country Ham, is better. But I think I had to go revisit it, so maybe just let it open up a bit, Steven. I think you'll like it. Knob Creek, always also one of my favorites. Honestly, Knob Creek is probably one of my favorite bourbons ever. The store picks are incredible. I'm excited to try the new releases from them, the 12-year. Yeah, so Maker's 46, it has the weeded notes, those bready, I don't even want to say desserty, because I get desserty on a lot of like Elijah Craig, those high rye mash bills, but I don't get it on weeded bourbons. It's just like a light, freshly toasted bread with maybe like a fruit spread on it. I guess that's how I would describe it. So that was the Maker's 46. I'm going to leave that in the glass though, because this next one, I thought it was really interesting that I looked up the next mash bill is exactly the same as the Maker's 46. So I'm really curious to see how this elusive bourbon holds up. And of course, I am talking about Weller 107. Thank you to my friend Jonathan who gave me this bottle. He's so giving. He gave me samples of like Pappy and stuff. He's so cool. He's a local guy here. He gave me this bottle. I think he stocked up on it last time they had sale. I also, though, I don't want to crack this open yet because I have a sample. So this sample, I've already gotten into it, as you can see. This was given to me by another friend of mine, Aaron. He gave it to me actually the same day I got that 107, but he gave it to me earlier in the day. So I'm going to drink his sample first before I open that bottle. But same stuff. They're not store picks. They're just regular Weller 107. 107 proof, so it's higher proof than the Maker's Mark. But this is a lot of people's like best of the best bourbons. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Brandon says, do you want a bottle of Special Reserve? I'm okay. I'm not the biggest fan on Weller Special Reserve. It's okay. I mean, it's good for the price. I just, not really one of my favorites. But 107, I think, is a big step up. So that's why I'm comparing that one versus the Special Reserve. So thank you, though. I appreciate it. So on the nose, it's different. And that's because even though it's the exact same mash bill, different distilleries, different locations, Maker's Mark is a lot further south than all the other distilleries. Not sure that makes a difference. It's still in Kentucky. But there is a very significant difference on the nose. The Maker's 46 is fruity and bready and very light, almost floral. The Weller 107, which it is a higher proof, it's similar. It has, I guess, it has like the fruity notes for sure. I'm not getting as much bread though on the nose. Let's go ahead and taste it. Let's see if I can get that on the taste. Weller is good, you guys. I mean, I don't think it's worthy of the ridiculous secondary market prices of it. But if you could buy this on the shelves, I mean, I think this is a $30 bourbon. Maker's 46 is around that same price point. Both very, very good. I actually have, if you're near Kentucky or you have a Costco, they have these little mini bottles of Maker's 46 cask strength. At Costco, it's in a three gift set. Highly recommend this. It's basically Maker's 46 but amped up. So definitely prefer that one, but it's very hard to find. So I'm just catching up. Steven says, Off Your Rocker has an explosion of vanilla and caramel, almost like you don't expect it. Doing blind because I'm biased towards my first Bookers. Oh, for sure. Haven't had Foolproof yet, but the Weller 107 by far is best Weller lineup. I haven't had Foolproof yet either. Brandon has the bottle. He's gonna bring me a sample of it. I'm so excited. Hopefully next weekend we'll get to meet up. So yeah, looking forward to trying that. But the 107 is good. Just the regular 100 proof, but it's still good. Yeah, Knob Creek, just even the standard Knob Creek is good to me. Yeah, so yeah, I think honestly, if I had to pick between these two, I mean, this might offend some people. I think the Maker's 46, just the standard Maker's 46 right here, I think it has, with that extra step they do with the oak staves, I think that's just a little bit more going for it. The proof is the only thing that's kind of detrimental to it. The 107 is great, though. It's a fantastic, it's my favorite so far, even compared to Weller 12. I think Weller 107 is one of the best products from Buffalo Trace, honestly. So, I mean, for the price point, not like, obviously not compared to like BTAC or anything, but still sometimes like the Weller 12 as a casual sipper. I've only had it once, but I preferred the 107 to the 12 at that time. It was a store pick of the 107 though, to be fair. So that could have influenced it. It was a good store pick. Yeah, so that's the... So since over those two I picked the Maker's 46, I'm going to... I hate to dump Weller. That just seems offensive, so I'm going to finish this. Normally I was going to add it to my dump glass, but I'm going to finish it. You agree with me, 107 over Weller 12? Yeah, I think... I mean, if Weller 12 was higher proof, which, I mean, that's... If it was a full-strength Weller 12, it might as well be William LaRue Weller, which I would love to try. That's my, like, dream unicorn Buffalo Trace Antique Collection glass that I want to try, is the William LaRue Weller part of the Antique Collection. That's my dream bottle. Not even to own, just to try. Yeah. So I'm going to finish the 107. Really, really, really good. Rinse it with a little water here. So I know I asked this earlier, but I don't remember seeing any answers. What are you guys' favorite wheated bourbons or wheat whiskeys? Opening up to that too. I have one little curveball to add into the end. I'm gonna wait till the very end though, because this one's a little bit different than the others. But I'm curious to hear what you guys. What's your go-to wheater, or do you not like wheat whiskeys? That's a thing too. Or I say wheat whiskeys. Wheat whiskeys would be whiskey that's 51% or more wheat. Wheaters or wheat bourbons are just wheat instead of rye. So going down my list of going from the lowest amount of wheat in a bourbon to the highest amount of wheat in a bourbon, we're going to move on to the one we were talking about earlier, the Rebel Yell 100 proof. Now, there's a lot of you out there that Rebel Yell brings back bad memories. They had bottles of the cheap stuff, the original, I think it's even 80 proof bourbon. Same distiller. They are sourcing it currently, most likely from Heaven Hill. But this is their newest 100 proof release. It is also, I believe they said it's older. It's more of their like reserve wheated bourbon. Basically, if you like larceny, this is like larceny amped up. I only say that like it because like they're not very open about their sourcing. So, but they do source it. They're gonna make it themselves eventually. But I'm a big fan of this. I picked this up in Kentucky because I tried it and I thought it was great. Brandon says it used to be Maker's Cask Strength, but now so many choices. Oh yeah, there are. Wheated bourbon, I swear it's like not blowing up, but it's coming back. For a while, Maker's Mark and Weller were like it. Yeah, I need to get a bottle of the 12. I would love to have it occasionally, but favorite we had is William Lou or Weller. But to be honest, I actually prefer rye mash bills. But usually my favorite wheater would be Maker's Store Pick. That's true. The Maker's Private Selects are fantastic. I didn't bring one of those out. Actually, I don't have one. I finished it off. I need to get another one of those. Maker's Store Picks, they are just as good as the 46 cask strength. They Makers, those what they do with their barrel selection, their stave selection, is really cool. I did a whole video about that before. If you go back to my history, you can probably find it. I love Maker's Private Selects. So let's go and pour the Rebel Yell. Just a little bit. There we go. So the mash bill on the Rebel Yell is 75% corn, so it's more corn. Interesting. The other two had 14% malted barley, which I thought was interesting, rather high. This is 75% corn, 20% wheat, and 5% malted barley. So just a little bit more wheat there. But there's also more corn there. So this may taste more like a traditional bourbon than a wheated bourbon. On the nose, I'm trying to... It's hard when you're comparing a lot of things that are very similar. This does smell a lot more like a traditional bourbon. It doesn't have the weedy character. Honestly, if you didn't tell me this was a weeded bourbon, I would think it's just a typical bourbon. There's a little bit of that breadiness on the nose. It's really far back there. You have to like get your nose all the way in the glass. But it's there. But this is very corny. Like I said, it's 75% corn, so immediately hit with that corn dustiness. But people say, so the argument I kind of slightly mentioned earlier is rye is a flavoring grain, but when you don't put rye and you put wheat instead, only thing that shines through is the corn. I don't fully agree with that statement, but I agree with it on this one. This is like a corn dusty. It's not like a corn whiskey. There's definitely something else there, but it's corn dustiness. It makes me a little, not sad, but like, I thought I really, really loved this one Rebel Yell 100. I thought this was like my new go-to wheated bourbon, but compared to those other two, this doesn't really stand up personally. I mean, let me know what you guys think if you've had the Rebel Yell 100. It's fantastic. This is a $20 bottle or less, depending on where you get it. It's incredible value. It's cheaper than the other two, but it's good. But it doesn't really have that really great aspect of wheated bourbon that I really like. It's a lot more corny. Tastes a little young compared to the others. It's just not my favorite. So that's not a diss on it. It is cheaper, but compared to those other two, I don't prefer it. Brendan says, what is your go-to glass for drinking whiskey? Usually go to the Glencairn, but for the higher proof, I use my Norland glass. I still need to get one of those Norland glasses. You know this, but I use these Tribeca glasses. They are basically Glencairns. They're just slightly different shape. They're a lot easier to drink from, which is why I like them. Yeah, the nose may not be as strong from one of these glasses, but it's so much easier. Like it's just a little slight tilt with Glencairn. You gotta do like that to drink it. So I don't know. I just enjoy the experience of drinking from these a little bit better. Although to be honest, most of the time when I'm not trying to deep dive into a whiskey, I'll just use a rocks glass. I have these other glasses which you guys have seen me use on the stream before. They're called Official Bourbon Trail glasses. They're like bulbous. They're like I think they're like similar to like a brandy glass. I enjoy drinking out of those when I'm not trying to like compare things. Like I even review some whiskeys with it. I do like it, but when I'm trying to compare things, I like to keep it consistent with these Tribeca glasses. So that's my glasses. I know Steven has those fancy glasses with like the giant stems. I know I need to get some of those, but yeah. This Rebel Yell is good, but it's not my favorite tonight. So I'm gonna pour that in there. Have I tried the same different whiskey in different glasses? I haven't, and I know you and I have talked about me doing a video on that or doing an episode, like a live stream on that. I definitely need to do that since I have so many glasses now. That's a good idea, Brandon. I have like an idea for next week's stream, but the week after, I will totally. That seemed like a really cool stream. I might need to get some New Orleans glasses before then, or borrow yours. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So moving on from the Rebel Yell, the next one I want to try. This one is gonna be a little bit weird. So this one, I didn't put it in the thumbnail because this is a weird one. Water. Just kidding. So the next one is also a gift from Aaron, who gave me the sample of the Weller 107. This is Smooth Ambler Big Level Wheated Bourbon. This is 100 proof. Now, those of you that have seen my stream before, I've reviewed Smooth Ambler's Contradiction and gave it less than favorable reviews. That was a blend of a sourced whiskey and their own whiskey. This, on the other hand, is entirely their own whiskey. It is from West Virginia. They do distill it themselves. I don't think it's age stated. I think it's like less than 3 years, I imagine. It just says wheated bourbon. It does say straight bourbon whiskey, though. So this one is a weird one. He gave it to me because he's like, this is my cooking whiskey. I don't like it. So I was like, you know what? I'll take it. Because he knew I was doing this episode. So Aaron, if you're watching this, what's up? Yeah, so he doesn't like this one. So I want to give it a try. To be fair, I've tried it already, but not compared to these other ones. Yeah, I did not like the Contradiction. That was not one of my favorite bourbons. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with that one. Even in an old fashioned, I don't like it. Maybe if I'm cooking something, but not my favorite. You guys talk about Booker's. Steve, I saw you said earlier that it opened up a little bit. That's good. Yeah, definitely come back to it because I just really do like that Booker's compared to some of the more recent releases. Best Booker's this year by far. I haven't tried the other two, to be fair. I haven't tried Teresa's batch and I haven't tried Shiny Barrel batch, but I've heard a lot of people say that this beats them, so I'm gonna believe them. We still have plenty of it in my store, so I don't think I'd be buying any of the others except that one. So you know how I said that the Rebel Yell didn't have that weedy nose on the nose? Weedy note on the nose. There, that's what I meant to say. This is jump out your glass, not even cooked bread. This is like bread that's like underdone, like squishy, doughy bread. Brandon, you said, did you want me to bring Shiny Barrel? Yeah, dude, definitely. I'd like to try it. I don't know if you've had the new country ham, but feel free. Yeah, it'd be cool to taste them together. That's actually what I want to try. So yeah, definitely bring that. That'd be awesome. Thank you. This one smells. I'm not even enough of an aficionado to say that a bourbon smells young. This smells young, and it worries me because it smells like Contradiction, which is a blend of their own young whiskey. This isn't 3 years old. Honestly, this I would guess 2 years at the most. Now I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But smells super bright, super grainy. I smell the wheat grain. Like I don't even smell like I said. It's like it's uncooked bread. It's like super weedy. Sorry, there's like a helicopter outside. Sorry if it's loud. Let's go ahead and taste it. Let's give it a shot. Ooh, that's dusty. Ooh, that's very interesting. You're right, Steven. I have had New Make. New Make is a lot sweeter than this. This is like a dusty corn. Like New Make is like, although you do say that, Steven, now that you say it's New Make, it is similar. I do get very similar notes to. God, I feel like there's like a police chase outside. There's like sirens and like helicopters. Well, if I get shot, you guys know where to find me. Actually, you don't, but Brandon, you know where to find me. So, yeah, this is super grainy. I think New Make is sweeter, but on the nose, it does smell like New Make. That's so weird. There's no oakiness. There's no age coming off this glass. Oh, Michael, what's up? Good to see you. Michael was at the distillery when I bought this. Is this one of the ones you picked up? I'm not sure. It's good for the price, but not in the same league as Weller 107. That's the thing. I hadn't had Weller 107 in a while when I tried this, and I loved it. I've been drinking this since. You can see I've been enjoying a good bit of this. But trying it back to back with the Maker's 46 and the Weller 107, it doesn't compare. It's great, but it doesn't compare. This Smooth Ambler, on the other hand, I would say give this a big old pass. I think this is like a $30 to $40 bottle. It's young. It's I see why it's cooking whiskey. Although I will keep it around because I kind of won't. I don't know that I would ever crave young whiskey, but if I wanted to show someone what young whiskey tasted like, this would be a good one to pour. I mean, I do. That graininess is unique. It's something that I don't get in any other bourbon I own because I usually buy better bourbon. I buy bourbon based on other people's feedback on it. Like I barely blind buy a bourbon just because there's so many great resources out there. I mean, not to say that this channel is a great resource, but I hope to help you guys, see something I review and you see that I like it and you know that you like something else I like. Hopefully it helps you. That's kind of why I like doing these instead of just keeping this to myself, because that's why I watch bourbon YouTube channels and read blogs and Instagrams and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in the dump glass. I'm not gonna finish that one. That one's just not doing it for me tonight. But I'm gonna go back to the Maker's 46 just real quick, just to remind myself what's my favorite so far. World's different. Has that wheat, almost that grainy note, but there's that oak, there's that depth, there's that additional layer of flavor that's anywhere to be found in that Smooth Ambler. So Maker's 46 still hands down much, much better. So one that I did want to try with you guys though, this is one that probably a lot of you haven't had, even those of you in Kentucky, and that's only because this is a cask strength offering of something that's more readily available in Kentucky. This is Wilderness Trail, small craft distillery, bourbon with their wheated mash bill, but it's cask strength store pick. This is the Bourboner pick, or the seal box Bourboner pick. So it's a store pick. There's some info there. Oh, come on. It's focused on me instead of that. There we go. 4 years, 5 months. Number 4 char. Even shows you the yeast strain there, which is pretty cool. Some Old Rip 10. Oh, that'd be awesome. I've only tried that once. But it was when I was trying a lot of other things, so I don't remember exactly how that tasted. Yeah, that would be a good comparison, Steven. So you and I, are we on some kind of sample chain together that Eric was supposed to be starting? I don't know. We'll get samples to each other eventually. I still owe Joseph some samples. So yeah, Wilderness Trail is a small craft distillery. They are growing. They're getting some really good feedback. I don't know if it ever happened either. But yeah, this is a store pick from Bourboner Seal Box, which is a website. So we're going to pour that one. This one is interesting because I poured a lot of it because I know I like it. This one's 64% corn. This is the lowest amount of corn in any of these bourbons. 24% wheat, the highest wheat we've had so far, and 12% malted barley. This one has the lowest corn of almost any bourbon I've had, let's be honest. Mostly corn usually dominates that. The cork is really hard to force in, so let's see if that wheat shines through. This one is not that old. Like we said, it's 4 years. But hell, they at least tell you how old it is, and 4 years is nothing to laugh at. That's for a small craft distillery, 4 years, that's awesome. I commend them for that. I know some of you guys have had Wilderness Trail before. Brandon, you had it last time, and based on all the other things we were drinking, it tasted young. Both of us agreed. Now, I had never gotten a young note on this before, but Brandon and I tried it at an event where we'd been trying a lot of really good. I think we tried Old Rip 10 right before trying this. I swear we did. So that was probably not the best thing to do, but you're a big fan of Wilderness Trail. That's awesome. So it does smell, you do get that. It smells most similar to Maker's 46, honestly. Yeah. So it has the cooked bread, not doughy bread, cooked bread note. But it's really, this is the first one that I've gotten a lot of oak on the nose. Usually I get that on the palate with wheated bourbons, but I get it a lot on the nose on this one. And it's probably the proof that helps that out. So let's go ahead and drink it. I'm a lot, you guys know this, but I'm a lot better at tasting notes than nosing notes. I will say, it tastes a little young. Again, some of these things I'm drinking are 6 to 8, even 10 years old. But there's like a maple syrupy, like, yeah, I would say maple syrup molasses note on that. That's really nice. It's on the finish. It's almost, I would say almost wood sap, but not like bitter. There's like, I guess I would say that because there's a lot of oakiness that like commingles with that molassesy note. It's really interesting. It almost, this would be hard to put head to head against the Maker's 46, and the reason I say that, Maker's 46 shines with some fruity notes that complement the oak. Yeah, Maker's 46 has like bright fruity notes, but tastes like it has some age on it. It tastes like Maker's Mark with some added age and some added depth. This, on the other hand, what it lacks in age, just flavor profile wise. I know I said earlier that this, I would keep this around because if I really want those wheat grain notes, I would keep this one around. This one has it, but it does it well. It I would like to try this at an older age, let's be honest. If this were like 6 to 7 years old, probably would be absolutely fantastic. That's why I can't say it's my favorite. But it's very, very good. This was a little pricey. The store pick was like $70. I think their regular releases are like 50-ish. I don't know, but I do especially if you're interested in like craft distillers. I think Wilderness Trail and New Riff are some of my favorites, especially the ones out in Kentucky. Definitely recommend giving their stuff a try. It's unique. I'll just say it's unique, but it does really well. And I think the reason that I think this tastes similar to the Smooth Ambler, because they're both over 20% wheat. Smooth Ambler is 21%, this is 24%. So that added wheat really does shine through, but this one has a lot more going for it than just the grainy flavors. So I have not tried the rye, Steven. I wanted to try more Wilderness Trail when I was in Kentucky. I didn't make it to the distillery. I also didn't see it at very many bars, so I did not try that. If we ever do a sample exchange, send me some, because I would love to try their rye. Michael said, I enjoyed the Maker's 46, however, you bought some Maker's Cask Strength, and you were not impressed. So, I have a similar story. I love Maker's 46 for the longest time. It was my go-to wheated bourbon, like I said earlier. The first time I bought Maker's Cask Strength, I was not a fan. It just tastes like Maker's Mark, which, like I told you, is not my favorite to begin with. It's bland and boring, in my opinion, regular Maker's Mark. I thought the first time I had the Cask Strength, it was just that, but turned up a little bit. But I'll say this. I revisited it several months later after I'd tried a lot of their lineup, their private selects, it wasn't before I had the Maker's 46 Cask Strength. By the way, Michael, I don't know if you have these in your Costco, but there's a gift set going around now that has the Maker's 46 Cask Strength. It also has the Rob Samuels Private Select. Highly recommend getting that. Much, much better than the regular Cask Strength. This is Cask Strength, but they also do entirely all 10 staves are Maker's 46. So give that a shot. I definitely prefer this over regular Cask Strength, and I also prefer all of the private selects over regular Cask Strength. So I'm kind of there with you. I think the thing that shines at Maker's is their extra finishing. I'm excited to get a bottle of the new RC6, I think it's called. It's an experimental wood grain. But I've tried it before it was released. We went to a tasting event and they let us sample a little bit of it, but we didn't know much about it at the time. They just said it's an experimental bourbon. It's going to be a seasonal release. So I would love to revisit it. I'm going to grab a bottle of that soon. So agreed, bland and boring original Makers. Yeah, I even try to keep going back to it, and it's just not it never hits the spot for me. It doesn't even like, and it's just so odd to me that regular Maker's 46 does. Like, it's the same thing. This is just like has some extra finishing elements going on. So I don't know. I think Maker's makes a good base for their other projects. But regular Maker's, I mean, I would drink it, not gonna lie, if I was served it. But I think it would be a great mixer. Someone said earlier Maker's and Coke. Yeah, I think it's a great mixer, but other than that, I'm not a huge fan. So yeah, this Wilderness Trail is great, but it doesn't beat the Maker's 46 for me. I almost spilled it. So wow, we're doing good on time. I thought I'd be struggling to get through all these. So thank you guys for sticking with me, by the way. I don't want to like linger on certain ones and like bore you guys. So I think I'll eventually get to this Maker's 46 Cask Strength. I'll say that for the very end. You're not a big Maker's fan, but the RC6 is pretty nice. Oh, interesting. That's good to hear. I definitely want to try it again. Like I said, I tried it before it came out. But yeah, I thought about my store got it in at $60, and I was like, I really need to stop spending money. I spent so much money on bourbon, you guys. Like, I spent so much this past like 2 or 3 weeks with Kentucky and everything. I spent way too much on bourbon, so I'm trying to hold off for a little bit. So yeah, this Wilderness Shell is great, but same Steven. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not even that I'm buying like rare like special releases, like the things that come out in the fall. It's just my stores seem to be getting a lot of good stuff in, and of course when I went to Kentucky, I had to buy like everything that I couldn't get here. But I've been buying so much other stuff too, so I really need to control myself. Never too much money on bourbon. Hey Chris, what's up? That's I mean it's not true, but I like to believe it's true. Yeah, I just the past like 2 or 3 weeks I've spent way too much, and I want to take a break, take a breather for like a week or two and not buy anything. So we'll see if something special pops up. Which I mean, I'm already buying some stuff from Brandon. Brandon was very fortunate to get a lot of cool things very soon, so he's very not grateful, very generous to offer me a Rock Hill Farms, which is, you guys know, that's my like unicorn bourbon. I know that sounds lame to say, like my unicorn bourbon is like a $55 bourbon, but for me that's one that I've been looking for forever. So cheers to Brandon. So before we go to the Maker's 46 cast strength, I'm jealous, but I'm also understanding of that. Oh, by the way, I don't remember if you told me your name. Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews. What's your name? Just so, I'll probably forget it. I'm really bad with names. These guys know I'm really bad with names, but tell me your name and I will try to remember it. Yeah. So before going into the Maker's 46 cast strength, Brent, what's up? Thank you again. I'm not gonna remember that. I'm really bad with names. Like I even like Mash and Drum, like Jason, right? God, see, the Mash and Drum. Every time he's here, I'm like, oh, it's the Mash and Drum. What is his name? I'm just really bad with names. I call people by their username. Like I recognize their username. I just, if they have a channel like under a name, Mash and Drum, I call them Mash and Drum. So I honestly think that stems from being on YouTube since the beginning, and everyone had YouTube usernames. Mine was Slice66 for the longest time, so I called people by their username. I was like, Winter Spring Pro, DJ Music Jammer. Like, I called everyone by their username, so it was just a thing back then. So now it's a little weird, but... Guy says, I hear you. I went on a spinning spree in October, and I got to chill because I got to buy food for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I hear you. I'm probably not going to have much of a Thanksgiving. We might go out to eat on Thanksgiving, but my husband has to work, so... I had a Thanksgiving at work today. It was really freaking good. I would show you guys a picture. Let me see if I can show you guys a picture. I am blessed because my company, we really do we do like a monthly get together where we like have food and celebrate birthdays. But this was my lunch today. Oh, it's too bright. Come on. Wow. Sorry guys. I thought that would dim down a bit for you guys. Oh well. Anyways, it was turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing. It was a really good lunch. Yeah, so that was my Thanksgiving. Yeah, I downloaded some new software for my webcam and it doesn't adjust exposure as quickly. Normally it does, but it doesn't adjust it. So this should be brightening, but it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, it's probably good for focusing on me, but anyways. See, everyone's been spending a lot on bourbon lately. I swear, it's this season, the time of year. It's like there's so many good releases. There's so many stores are getting some good stuff because it's the holidays. I did not get Maker's 101. I definitely want to try Maker's 101. That's one I missed. I wasn't able to make it to the distillery at Maker's Mark. Only brought one bottle home, and Lil and I have been going through it. You like it? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to. I know it's in a bunch of duty-free shops, so next time I travel international, I'll have to look for it. Hoping to go back to Mexico soon, by the way. You guys probably don't follow like my travel videos, but like, God, I love visiting Mexico. There's so many great cities out there and great areas of Mexico to explore. Anyways, moving on to the final, other than the Maker's 46. This one's a curveball. This is a straight wheat whiskey from Woodford Reserve. I picked this up. They had the malt whiskey in this one. I picked both of them up. This was $35. So what makes this a wheat whiskey? Well, to be a wheat whiskey, it's basically the same category requirements of corn. It has to be 51 or more percent wheat. And then most of the other requirements are the same. But there needs to be like 51% or more wheat instead of 51% corn. So, yeah, that's true. That's true, Chris. So this one is 52% wheat, 20% malted barley, and 20% corn, and 8% rye. Which, ladies and gentlemen, that means this is a 4-grain bourbon. Or, nope, not a bourbon. Scratch that. 4-grain whiskey. It's not a bourbon because it's the wheat is the dominant grain, but oh, you have the Woodford wheat whiskey. Yeah, go get it. I'll wait a minute so you can go grab that. You think the malt is horrible? Brent, right? Yes, Brent. So I bought both of them. I asked a few people that I'm in like a couple of different group chats, and I said, "Hey, which is better, the wheat or the malt?" Most people said the malt was better, but a couple of people said the wheat was better. So I was like, "Screw it, $35. I'm gonna get both of them." So I did. I didn't think the malt was horrible. I didn't get as much. People was like, "Oh, the malt is like malted milk balls. It's so chocolatey and yummy." I don't agree. I think it tastes like Woodford. I'm gonna be honest. It tastes like Woodford Reserve. Maybe slightly. I do get a little hint of that, but it's not overwhelming. So I was not super impressed with the malt. The wheat. It's been a while since I visited this one, so I'm gonna hold my judgments for it when I try it. On the nose though, that is weird. That is weird. That 52% wheat, that's like a 30% jump from the other ones that I've been drinking. Yeah, that's a weird one, but it doesn't smell bad. It does smell like Woodford. That's the funny thing. It smells like Woodford, but it has a grainy note that I've noticed a lot on every single one of these 20% more 20% or more wheated bourbons. That's hard to say. I get a grainy note, but some of them do it well, like Wilderness Trail. It tastes like a grainy note, but with age. This smells really fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this one. Guy, I hope you have your glass. And anyone else, whatever you're drinking, cheers. Almost done with the stream, so thank you guys for sticking through. Always fun to chat with you guys. This one, I don't dislike it. I could drink this. Compared to the Smooth Ambler, this one's like, yeah, I can drink it kinda a little bit. This one, I could drink and I'd be happy. But I would say that I don't think that I'm a wheat whiskey guy. I'm a wheater guy. I love wheated bourbons that are at least 51% corn. But going up to 52% wheat, I think makes it too odd for me. Now, I say that I'm a bourbon guy. You guys know I'm a bourbon guy. I'm a rye guy. I like Irish whiskey, and I dabble in Scotch. This is unlike any of those. It's drying, I would say. It's like it's hold on. Chris says head off. Mom's on the way back to the hospital. Just getting ready to go meet her. As just woke up after finishing night shift over here. Talk to you soon. All good, man. Wishing her the best, and definitely keep us updated. I hope everything's going well with her. I know that's tough. I couldn't imagine going through that with my mom. So, cheers. Have a great day. Finishing night shift. So daytime for you. So, cheers, man, and have a wonderful day tomorrow or whatever day it is over there. And again, I wish your mom the best. So, yeah, it's different. And it's okay. Okay, so you agree with me. I didn't want to. It's not that I didn't want to offend you. Like everyone has different tastes. Like what you like, but it's different. But like I kind of dig it. I dig different things. That's why I have a collection. Honestly, if all my bourbon tasted the same, that'd be really boring. I have such a variety of whiskey out there. Oh, you're heading out to Brent. I keep forgetting your name, but I know Brent. All right, man. Thank you so much for showing up, and hopefully you'll come back for more. I do these every Thursday, so good to see you. So yeah, this Woodford is very different, but gotta say I'm a fan. I'm not even a fan of regular Woodford Reserve, but I mean, okay, so I'll say that. Also, I don't know if I told you guys this story. I may have, but Woodford Reserve had the best tasting experience of my whole Kentucky trip. Now, I'm not talking about the tour. I'm not talking about the guides or anything. Just the way they guided you through the flavors was really, really well done, especially for people that aren't bourbon drinkers. So I commend them for that. So I do get that typical Woodford flavor, but it's goes in a weird offshoot different direction, and that's what I like. Let's be honest, Woodford Reserve, they try to meet every single flavor point. They want to be a little bit oaky and a little bit chocolatey and a little bit smoky and a little bit caramely, a little bit vanilla-y. I don't like balanced bourbons. I like well-rounded bourbons, but I want something to have character. I want something to have certain characteristics that shine. This kind of goes in that direction. It shoots off in certain ways. What that direction is the weird one. Sweet, grainy. I mean, I'll just say this. I'll quit talking about this one because this one's a weird one. It's so weird I can't even wrap my head around it. It's something worth trying. If you do like wheaters, I do recommend either grabbing this or grabbing was it Bernheim, the one from Heaven Hill, their wheat whiskey. I haven't had that one. I'm curious how that one is. Have you guys had the Heaven Hill's wheat whiskey? I do want to know what you think of it because I've been very, very curious about that one. But I think it lets you know that I like bourbon. I don't like wheat whiskey. I like rye whiskey, but I don't like wheat whiskey. I don't dislike wheat whiskey. I don't prefer wheat whiskey. That's how I'll say it. It's good, but it's not 1792 store pick good. I accidentally left my 1792 store pick at a friend's house. I need to go revisit that one. I reviewed it actually a couple of videos back on my channel. So if you're curious, I have a review of my 1792 store pick. Not bad at all, but it's not my favorite. So that means the reigning champion of my wheat flight fight, kinda, not really. It wasn't really intended to be a flight or a fight. But the winner so far, Maker's 46, with Weller 107 being a very close second. Honestly, I can't say I like Maker's 46 over Weller 107. They're definitely different, but both fantastic whiskeys. And if you can get this at the price point, the $30 price point, even up to $40, highly recommended. The Maker's 46 I can get for 30 or under usually. Definitely revisit 107. It's honestly, I only go to it every now and then, and every time I go to it, I'm like, oh, this is really good. So since Maker's 46 won this night, you guys know I gotta try one very last thing before I end this stream. That's the Maker's 46 Cask Strength. I'm so excited. I've drank very little of this on purpose because I like it so much. So let me cleanse my palate a bit, get rid of that wheat whiskey to go back to some bourbon. Which, Brandon, I know you still have some of this, so pour some with me. You don't have to. I don't know where you are in your night of drinking, but yeah, this I only know that he got this because I bought his set. So yeah, definitely try Maker's 46. Like I said, it's totally different than regular Maker's, and I think it expands on what regular Maker's does well. So by does well, let me clarify. I'm not a fan of regular Maker's, but I get the appeal. You have 2 bottles and I don't want to talk about it. You're right, because you bought your own. That was right. You told me that day of. You're like, oh, I bought my own. I forgot you bought me one. Okay, yeah. You won't talk about it, but anyways. Yeah. Urgh. That was on there tight. I haven't visited this one in a while. Okay, so fortunately I still have a little bit of the Maker's 46. So we're going to compare them. We're going to see what cask strength really does for Maker's Mark. And whiskey in general. No, not really, but God, that cork gets tight in this little bottle. Which, Brandon, if you happen to have some empty 375 bottles, bring them because we have to split a couple things, the turkey and the Heaven Hill. If you don't, it's okay. I have some regular size bottles, but it'd be easier in these. Okay, so there is the cast strength. I'm going to take another sip of the regular 46 first, though. This smells so good. You know what's sad? We've gone through like 6 bottles of this, and I think I want to buy some more. Costco has these on sale pretty frequently, and every time I'm like, maybe I don't like it as much as I think I do, but every time I revisit it after a while, dang, this stuff is good. One of my favorite bourbons. I'm going to be honest and say it's one of my favorite bourbons. And at cast strength, I think it does something incredible. So we're going to try that in a second. We're going to chase the regular one first, real quick. Oaky. Toasty. Like, toasty not in the terms of like a toasted barrel, but toasty as in like I just toasted some bread. I just like chewed down on some like a little slightly burnt toasted bread with some fruit jam. Like I said, there's some fruitiness on there. Fantastic. I just keep revisiting this every time. Steven says, have you seen the new Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond? I feel like it should have hit by now considering the market. Wait, so Steven, I'm curious. I have not. I have heard about it. It was supposed to hit us first, right? You too in New York, right? I have not seen a single bottle of it. Not even like my store got it in and then like sold out of it. It hasn't hit my stores. But it's odd because it was supposed to hit California, New York, and like Georgia and some like other weird states. And I know some people got it. I've seen people doing reviews of it. I've seen people saying like, just pick this up at my store. It has not hit California yet, at least as far as I'm aware. I have not seen a single bottle of it. Have you guys seen, the rest of you, have you seen Heaven Hill? Have you seen the new Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond? It's just so odd that it was supposed to hit us first and it hasn't made it. See, I've seen people in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's what's weird. It was supposed to hit these major states. And like, normally, like if we're on the distribution list, like the, what was one of the first things that hit us over here? There's something else recently that was supposed to hit like New York and California first, and we got it like that week. Like it was crazy. This though, haven't seen it, so yeah, I have no idea what's going on with that. I'm holding out though. I want to do a review of. I have a bottle thanks to Swan, who most of you know, Swan the Bourbon Finder, at the Bourbon Finder on Instagram. Got Brandon and I a bottle of the new Heaven Hill bottle, the old label Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond, that was readily available in Kentucky. So Brandon and I are splitting it when he gets here next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend, but. Now, the cast strength is a different nose. That's weird. Then again, this has been sitting out for a while. It's also the bottom of the bottle. There's not as much fruitiness. It almost has more of a dustiness. You know what? Take that back. There's more fruitiness, but there's some dustiness that kind of intermingles with that. That is not on the regular one. So, let's taste the cast strength Maker's 46. Distillery exclusive, or Costco, if you buy the gift set. There's some dustiness. Ooh. 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 Honestly, you guys know I said earlier that the Maker's Private Select program is my favorite thing that they do at Maker's Mark. This is part of that. It's just as if you had picked 10 staves of the Maker's 46 over 10 staves of any other combination. That finish is incredible. This is only 111.2 proof. If you like, so I'll say this. If the only thing you've had for Maker's Mark ever is regular Maker's Mark, I recommend picking up a bottle of Maker's 46, not the Castro, just the regular Maker's 46. Try that. If you're like, oh, I like this. I'm not a fan of the regular Makers, but I like this. Then I recommend you to venture into, maybe try the cast strength, which is more readily available. Guy said earlier, it's not his favorite. For me, it also wasn't my favorite at first. But if you like the higher proof, and you have a Costco, and this is still around, my Costco still has, I don't know about you guys, but this Maker's 46 cast strength is part of a gift set. Also, if you live near Kentucky, it's at the gift shop at Maker's Mark. I think I'm going to make a statement. My statement is this is the best product I've ever had from Maker's Mark. ever. Now I've had the RC6 once, so I would like to revisit that one. But Maker's Mark 46 cast strength, absolutely fantastic. And I'll say it here. Now, Brandon, we may change this opinion when I try your foolproof, but as of tonight, November 14th, 2019, Maker's Mark cast strength 46, favorite wheated bourbon. So that's my personal opinion. You may have favorites. You may prefer the Weller 107. You may prefer the Weller Foolproof. I may prefer the Weller Foolproof when I try it soon. So yeah, this cast strength Maker's 46 is absolutely fantastic. Even in the world of, if you're like, are normally like a rye, not a rye whiskey drinker, a rye bourbon drinker. So it's like bourbon, like corn, rye, and malted barley, like most bourbons. Give this one a shot. This is incredible. So good. So again, I finished almost right on time. Do you guys have any questions for me before I wrap up? I'd love to know, like, if you have any questions about any of these or anything in general. I have 3 minutes, so ask away. Any questions? Any burning questions? Happy to answer them. I should start doing that. Honestly, I thought about like kind of like a little new format for these live streams. I thought about maybe starting with a sample, like a sample shout out kind of thing, and then go into my stream and then ask questions at the end. I don't know if you guys have questions every week. I mean, most of you guys are here every week, so so I'm getting a bottle of Weller for Christmas. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the only thing I don't like, not that I don't like, Weller Special Reserve disappointed me. I bought it retail. I didn't pay overpriced for it at all. I paid $22 for it. It was just like, it was just as meh as Maker's Mark standard release, personally. Brendan says, is Justin home? Yes, he's cooking dinner. I had a huge lunch, and I forced him to wait till I finished my stream to eat dinner, so he is patiently waiting for me. So that's why I just finished like right on time almost. So, any non-bourbon explorations recently? So, Stephen, good you mentioned that. I picked up a bottle of something that I had tried from a friend. I don't know how to pronounce it. Hold on. What is it called? Hold on. Okay. It's called Aberlour, Aberlour. Abunada? That's not how you pronounce that. A''Bunadh. It is a sherry bomb of a scotch. It is not peated, so don't worry, it's not peaty, but it is fantastic. I tried it at a meetup. This friend that was trying to get me into scotch, I told him, like, I'm a bourbon guy. And he was like, I was like, I like sherry finished stuff. I do like sherry finished stuff. I like port finished stuff. He's like, oh, try this one. It's normally $75. My store had it on sale for about $55. Had to pick it up, and I'm glad I did. Again, I prefer bourbon, I prefer rye, but that stuff, fantastic. Cask strength scotch. Sherry, cask finished, super sherry influence. It's a very fantastic scotch, and I'm very glad that I discovered it. And okay, you think it's good stuff too. Okay, good to know. Yeah, it's honestly, it's one of my favorites, and I was very happy to buy a bottle at that price. So yeah, I even like, honestly, like occasionally I'll go for like a peated scotch. I'm not adverse to it like I used to be, but I think the scotches I really like are sherry finished or like even port cask finished scotches. Anything that adds on to that scotchiness that's not my favorite flavor profile. That Maker's Cast strength is very, very good. I think that's it for tonight, you guys. Again, thank you all for sticking around and watching this whole stream. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching it. Feel free to answer any of my questions that I've said throughout the stream. I'll get your contacts in the comments below. Yeah, thank you guys. Again, thank you for letting me hit 2,000 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking out my channel and hanging out with me. You guys know this is one of my favorite parts of the week, to hang out with you guys every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Or no, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I don't even know what Central Time is. You guys tell me. But anyways, have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. Almost Thanksgiving, but not quite. So I'll save that for next week's stream to give you a little Thanksgiving thing of what I'm thankful for. But until then, I'm here to help you drink good whiskey. And tonight, Maker's Mark 46 and Maker's Mark 46 Cask Strength were the best whiskey. So, cheers. Thank you, all the new viewers. Guy and, Juan, you're not a new viewer, but Juan, thank you. And yeah, have a great night. And keep sipping on what you're sipping on. That's not a good tagline, but cheers. Bye, you guys.